Take 3. So this is my 3rd attempt to make this video, and I hope that this one sticks. And I hope that I don't have to edit too much because I'm kind of sick of making this video and I'm just going to upload it as it comes. So let's do that. So I decided that since I couldn't take the video over and over, things kept going wrong. My microphone was weird at one point. There was like a weird knocking sound. I didn't want you guys to have to listen to that. So I put on my No Yarn Left Behind shirt because I decided that what I needed was this shirt. And maybe this shirt would make the difference. So what I want to do is I have a finished object. It's just kind of a vloggy, updatey thing. I have a finished object. I have some ongoing projects, and I'm just going to do like a what's in my knitting bag kind of thing. So let's start with the ongoing projects. I haven't done a lot of what's in my knitting bag videos because I've been working on the same project forever. I've been working on this pair of socks. Well, actually it's 3 pairs of socks, which is why it's taken me so long. And on top of the fact that it's 3 pairs of socks, it is super soft, super slippery yarn that is honestly driving me insane. If I had wooden needles that the yarn wouldn't slip off of as bad, maybe it wouldn't be a big deal, but I don't have the right size of wood needles. If I'd been smart enough to go out and buy some when I started the project perhaps, but now I'm finally almost done, so it just hasn't happened. So anyway, that's this pair. This is, you see the ball of yarn inside the sock. I knit my socks from the toe up so that as soon as I'm past about the midway foot, I can actually keep the yarn inside. And then I use my little needle holders, and then I can throw them in my bag just like this, which is great for going out into the world. But anyway, almost done with those. Those are for a friend of mine. I'm trying to veer away from commission knitwear for a little while because I have so many of my own projects that I want to do, but that's for a really special friend that I would never say no to. She's very cool. But I'm almost done those, finally. But I needed a break from those yesterday. I kind of needed like a mental health day. We had like a plumbing incident last week, which doesn't seem like a big deal, and really it wasn't a big deal, but it's a bit of a triggering thing for me because of some trauma from my childhood around that. So I needed a day off. So yesterday I made myself a book sweater, and this is literally just, first of all, covered in cat hair. I wonder if you guys can see that. It was just a bunch of scrap yarn I had left over. I think this stuff I recently had made some cat toys with, but it literally was just like little balls of yarn. Probably all of it was gifted to me. This is one of those no yarn left behind kind of projects where I just used up what I had. I have been reading a lot lately. I'm not sure if it was like my mind finally healed from all of my the excess exercise of getting my master's degree or what, but all of a sudden in the last maybe month or two, I've read just a lot. I've just suddenly been reading a ton. I also started the Gilmore Girls reading list, and then I got frustrated with the Gilmore Girls reading list and I started editing the Gilmore Girls reading list because I was watching the show, which I've watched a few times over now, and I'm rewatching it again. If you get to the end of it on Netflix, it takes you to Gilmore Girls A Year in the Life, and then you get to the end of the Year in the Life and it takes you back to Gilmore Girls. So it's like this evil circle that I can't seem to escape, and I just keep watching it over and over. So I was watching it again and noticing that there's a whole lot of books that Jess handles that are never mentioned on the Gilmore Girl reading lists. And then there are films that Lorelai talks about that are mentioned as though they are books on the Gilmore Girls reading list. And frankly, I'm not a Jodi Picoult fan. I'm not going to read My Sister's Keeper. The only time it's mentioned on the show is when Lorelai's talking about the film, and she specifies with Rosie O'Donnell. Like, it's definitely the film she's talking about. So it really doesn't belong on the reading list. So I started editing the reading list. But anyway, so I am working on the Gilmore Girls reading list. Going into it, there were about 100 books on the list. The initial list of 408 books that I found, there were about 100 that I had already read. I've read a lot of classics. I have 2 writing degrees, so you kind of do that. So now I'm reading Tolstoy. I'm reading Anna Karenina. Is that how you say that? Whatever. I'm reading Anna Karenina. I'm enjoying it greatly, but I'm reading it really slowly. I'm kind of digesting it. It's more readable than I expected it to be based on what I've heard people say about it. But still not like something you can just, it's not like Little House on the Prairie. I'm not just gonna fly through it, right? Okay, so anyway, So then I was watching this booktuber that I like to watch, whose name I can't think of at the moment, but I'll make sure it's in the comments. She had done a video about book sleeves that she uses so that when she takes her books out places, she doesn't have to worry about something getting on them, which is a really, like, I take my books with me everywhere. I'm like Rory Gilmore. I always have a book with me. I've been like that since I was a little kid. I always have a book with me. And I like the idea of having my book in something because I often throw it into my knitting bag or into my backpack, and there's always like a granola bar or a trail mix or something in there, and I'm kind of afraid of like chocolate melting onto it or something. So I like the idea of having a little sleeve for it, and then I liked the idea of using this like leftover scraps of yarn to do this kind of autumn-y one. I did this cabling down the center just for fun. I did it from this top down, and then it's a Kitchener stitch along the bottom. And then I just threw on this was like a leftover button from a sweater project I'd done. I was gonna do one of my cute shaped buttons. I have some really cute ones. They're like shaped like dogs and stuff. But then I realized that they were in a closet I cannot currently get to, which is another part of the reason I've been so behind on uploading content. I uploaded a new episode of the podcast the other day, and it was the first one that I'd uploaded in quite a while, largely because we just put new flooring in my bedroom, which is just outside my office here. My office sits off the bedroom. And that flooring took us a lot longer to put in than I expected. In the meantime, we also had 2 new roommates move in. We have a tenant from one of our rentals moving out. We just had a lot going on. Plus it's summertime and COVID is not as big of a deal for vaccinated people. So everybody wants to socialize. And I'm an introvert. And by the time I'm done all that socialization, I just don't have any energy left in me to talk to a camera. So, why did I say all of that? Where was I going with that? Nope, lost it. But anyway, so I've been doing all this reading lately, and I really like the idea of having a book sleeve. So I was gonna make a few of these, probably with some of the leftover yarn that I have from other projects. I feel like it's a really good little stash buster. I did this one in less than a day. Like, I started it with my morning coffee yesterday, and I was done with it before dinner started. And I was doing other things throughout the day too, like housework and stuff. But mostly I was doing the introvert, not talking to anybody thing. So yeah, there's that. I'm currently reading, if anybody cares, I'm currently reading Margaret the First by Danielle Dutton. I'm reading this from my book club that I'm in, and I am loving it. It's so pretty, and it's very like, if you're into Rain, or my brain just froze on the name of that really good one. I don't even like Rain. If you're into any of those shows that are about like the Tudors or any of that, it's very like, it's royalty, British royalty, French aristocracy, very cozy read with really gorgeous language and a lot of powerful statements on women's rights and feminism. So that's it. So that's my finished object that I have to share with you. And then what else do I have going on? I have in my bag here. Oh, did I show you guys my bag? This is my bag from 31. My best friend Cassie gave me that as a gift. I'm working on these socks. This is for what my spiritual sister, my bestie, Beanie, is a dancer. I'm making her some yoga socks. So I started these a while back. That's my newest stitch marker. Took me like 4 tries to make that, and I need to get a few more made and get them listed on Etsy because they're so freaking cute. I love mushrooms. Anyway, this is my second pair of socks with this yarn. It was gifted to me by a friend of mine. It was from some yarn of the month that she belonged to at one point, and she had 2 socks worth of it, so she gifted them to me. And it's really cool because it starts out like blue-green on the foot of the sock, and then you work your way up the calf and it turns to like this purple and gray with the pink in the middle. Anyway, I love it. It's very nice. I want to finish up those other socks so that I can get these. This will be my project bag. This will be my on-the-go project, my, you know, when I'm out of the house project. And then oh, there's that one of the other pairs of those socks that I've been finishing up. Those ones are done. They just need the ends woven in. I hate that part. And then the last project I have in my bag right now is still my Figure on the Inside shawl, which I love the way this lace is working out. I don't know how well you can see that, but it is beautiful. It requires a lot of counting. I'm not the strongest chart knitter. Having to like keep track of where I am on a chart is really difficult for me. I tend to lose my place because I don't know why. I just don't, charts are not my thing. But I do have like the chart here. I have a post-it on it. So I just move the post-it up as I finish each line so that it marks off exactly where I am. And then this pattern is a little bit different from what I've done in the past for shawls. It's done left to right, which I've done, but it's done left to right for this lace part that's going to be like a big triangle, but then you pick up and knit along the whole bottom of that triangle to add on this row of TARDISes, which I cannot wait for this to be done. It's the perfect like geeky project to wear out in the world, and only the biggest of Doctor Who nerds are gonna notice it, which is my favorite. Like my Jane's hat earrings, my favorite thing is to wear like it, you know, you don't necessarily stand out as wearing like a corporate logo from a TV show or whatever, but it still shows that you are a fan, right? I love that. So I'm really looking forward to wearing that. I have a lot of projects that are like, you know, I like the method, I like the process. This is not one of them. This is one that, although it's really helpful when I'm really in my head because it requires so much focus. I watched WandaVision when I was starting it, and it was a really good kind of companion to that because WandaVision, like as you're going on, there's, you know, the calmer rows, there's rows that don't require as much counting, and then rows that do, and WandaVision just kind of, it worked well with WandaVision. But now I'm rewatching the Gilmore Girls, which I don't even have to look at the screen. I've seen it so many times that I can just watch it and know what's on. I know what's happening on that show. I don't need to actually look at the screen. But yeah, so that's my Bigger on the Inside shawl. And then the last thing I just wanted to talk about kind of goes along with that, because I was thinking the other day, and I was talking to a kid I know about this. I was thinking about how we tend to think of women in our culture as not being as into STEM. There's a lot of push for like getting girls into STEM, into the science and technology and math and engineering, etc. There's a lot of push for that. And I was watching Raven's Home. I'm a huge Raven Simone fan, and honestly, Raven's Home, I mean, we all know I like a tween sitcom, but there's something special about Raven's Home. There's something really special about the writing on that show. So I was watching Raven's Home, and Raven was talking to whatever the youngest kid there's name is. I can't remember his name. But she was talking to the boy about a science project he needed to do, and it was like a challenge. He had a box of things he was supposed to turn into this science project for school, and she talked to him about doing it fashion related and turning it into, I think they ended up making a jacket or something. I don't know. I've only watched the episode once, but what caught me was, as she was talking to him about this, she said, fashion is STEM. When you've got, you know, engineering and all this piecing together of stuff, and there's so much math behind it, and it's very sciencey, like fashion is STEM. And knitting is STEM. Knitting is so much math, and I struggle with these charts, but I don't know, it is very math oriented. And I think we have a tendency in our culture to see math and science as a man's world, not taking into consideration that so much of women's world revolves around math and science. And I say women's world in like quotations because I don't like boxes. But I was just thinking about like that idea of, they say that after the 8th grade, girls tend to lose confidence in their math skills. Something happens around that age range where they lose confidence in math and science skills. They tend to think that they're supposed to be more English oriented, regardless of where their actual skill set is or where their strengths and weaknesses are. So I was thinking a lot about that recently, and I just wanted to kind of float that out there of, if you are a knitter, you are doing math. If you're a knitwear designer, you are doing even far more math, and you're doing geometry, and you're doing all kinds of things. But if you're a knitter, you're doing math. And I think that's important to remember. Anyway, that's all I have today. I have one more project I was going to talk about, but I forgot to bring it in here. But I did start a embroidery project. I haven't done embroidery in probably 2 decades, but I found this one on at Michael's on clearance for like $3, and it says women supporting women, or women inspire women. I think that's what it says. I don't know. I'll put a picture up somewhere over here. Women inspire women, I think is what it says. And my goal is I've been applying for full-time professor positions since I completed my master's degree, and full-time instructor positions at community colleges, etc. And so my goal is one day I'll have an office. I do teach women's studies, so one day I'll have an office and I'll have that hung in my office is the plan. I've been really slowly working on it because the dog always wants to sit in my lap, and I'm so afraid that I'm gonna poke her with the needle. So I have been, it's just been a very slow process working on this particular project. I take it out with me, like when my wife goes to Tai Chi classes, I usually take it with me and do it in the car while I wait for her to get out of her Tai Chi lesson. That seems to be like the safe space for me to work on this embroidery project. But those are my only big projects right now, or my only knitting projects right now. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. All right, so have a great day. Don't forget to craft outside the circle.